Okay, so if given the chance to choose between 4 transformations from anime, but still remain in our modern world, which would you choose? From Dragon Ball Super Saiyan, One Piece Gear 2, Bleach Ichigo's Tensei Sengetsu, or Naruto's initial Jinchuriki form? Now, each form, we're only talking about the first form in the transformation and not any of the evolutions that come after. Also, this means that you already have the built-in power system to use it. So ki, chakra, spiritual pressure, etc. Now, let's go over the pros and cons of each and how much of a threat you would be. First off, Super Saiyan. Now, a majority of us that's been watching anime wanted this first over anything else. Dripping in gold and all that power. So, what's the pros of going Super Saiyan? The transformation is a multiplier to your strength and your power. Most claims are by a factor of 50. Even if you're a slouch by American standards, this boost puts you above the most average fit guys and a few that happen to be peak fit humans. Since this transformation requires ki, means you have it and would need to master it in the form, because it consumes a lot of ki in exchange for the power. This is why we see Goku and Gohan stay in the form to condition themselves during the Cell Saga, so it wouldn't be as demanding when they need it. Now, since you have ki, you can learn how to use it to make ki blast, fly, and even level up to the stage of Super Saiyan. But what are the drawbacks of this transformation? The conditioning to maintain it or evolve would be considered a drawback, but that's the case for most abilities. But the biggest drawback is the cost of achieving it. Most Saiyans only achieve the form after being dragged emotionally and losing something huge and mentally breaking from them. Now, we don't see Goten or Trunks go through this, but one could argue since their dads had already achieved it that they're basically nepo babies. So even if you choose this, if you live a regular boring life, you may never trigger it. Unless you find reasons to crash out on a regular, then you got it. But what type of threat would you be? This one's hard to scale because King Vegeta in base form was able to destroy planets, but us lowly humans don't even have a quarter of that strength. So a 50 times multiplier on a slouch with decent ki control, maybe city level, or we can cap it off to being possibly global, but depends how dedicated you are to improving your base stats. Next transformation is Gear 2. Now, this form is caused by Luffy eating the Gomu Gomu no Mi fruit, and we're using that name because that's how it's introduced and most people aren't caught up or know its other name. So the Gum Gum fruit gives the user rubber-based abilities. You can now manipulate your body in various ways and forms. Gear 2 is the first evolved state of his Devil Fruit ability. It amplifies his speed and his strength of his attacks. He has achieved this from pumping blood quickly through his legs, which would kill or explode the heart of a regular person, but having rubber body parts makes this perfect for him. Now, this wouldn't come with the power system of the world since Luffy didn't need Haki to use the fruit abilities, it just enhanced it. So what are the pros of having Gear 2? The rubber-based abilities alone already have you a step above everyone in this world. You're bulletproof and basically physical damage proof since no one knows Haki. With that added boost of Gear 2, you are basically speed blitzing any problem with overwhelming rubber force. You will be known as a rubber bruiser in the streets and a jackrabbit in the but what are the drawbacks for this transformation? Using Gear 2 does come at a cost. It increases your metabolism, so you will end up hungrier on the low end or paralyzed at the worst case if you max it out. Also, it was stated that the transformation could reduce your lifespan, but it's also shown that you could reduce the effect with proper training. So what type of threat would that make you? I would have to say city, and that's stretching it. No pun intended. With this, you can rampage through a city, but that's not going to be a quick feat. Now, has this made you decide already, or are you waiting to hear the others? And why are you waiting to hit the subscribe? Go ahead and tap in. Next transformation is Ichigo's Tensei Sengetsu, aka his Bankai. Now, first, a Bankai is a user's final and most powerful form that comes from the Zanpakuto. It's basically the user summoning the spirit of your Zanpakuto to the physical world. Now, Ichigo's version grants him insane speed, strength, and durability. All his stats are pretty much amped up, including the range of his attacks. Now, since this takes the use of spiritual pressure, you now have control of this power system. So, pros of having Bankai or even spiritual pressure. Man, the list is long, but it's also limited because in the real world, who's going to teach you any of this? but you can walk on air or even fly, sense other beings, intimidate others with just the pressure of your own energy, enhance yourself or your attacks. Now, using that with your Bankai, there's nothing in our world that's matching that or stopping you. All regular tasks can be speed blitz, or just use your buffs to knock out any labor work that would take a whole crew to do. But me personally, I'm becoming an air pirate and raiding everything, because who gonna stop me? So with something so good, what are the drawbacks? Well, it's more low-end stuff that can be said with most transformations. The energy cost of using it, and you leave yourself wide open in the middle of the transformation. Now, some Bankais have limited use against certain people or effects that can also be harmful to you or take a long time to set up. But with Ichigos, they don't seem to have any specific setbacks. But what about the threat level? I would say with this Bankai, you could be between city and state depending on how much spiritual pressure you can build up. Ichigo has rearranged mountains and buildings from his swings and other attacks, so it's all possible. Next transformation is the initial Jinchuriki form, which is a state that a Jinchuriki enters when they tap into their tailed beast chakra. They are surrounded by a layer of red chakra, giving them enhanced strength, speed, and healing. Now, in this form, it can grow further, which is indicated by the tails that sprout from the layer of chakra floating around you. But there's also physical changes, like with your eyes turning red, your pupils turning to slits, your canine sharpening, and talons sprouting out from your fingertip. Now, the energy around you, or shroud as it's called, also respond to threats for you. Now, in order to have this form, you will get chakra in a tailed beast, and for safety purposes, a seal to keep that bad boy in place. So pros of this transformation, well, you get the buff and increased healing, a very deep well of chakra to pull from. With the shroud, you basically are now playing duos with a built-in partner, and in our world, that puts you as a top-tier specimen. You have all the tools to get out of most problematic situations that could come up. Now, what about drawbacks? Well, there's a couple things you need to consider with this. Jinchuriki are prisons for tailed beasts, so that means it ain't cool with you, and it's constantly seeking a way to get out, and you are just in the way. Now, if you can reach an agreement, that's fine. Otherwise, each time you lose it, it's going to take that chance to try to take over. So if you're a crash out guy, then this will spell danger. The form also comes with a strain and pain of the body of the user. Also, the same could be said for mental pain, which can cause you to be emotional and all over the place, which helps it get control over you. So for the threat in this form, I would say neighborhood on the low end, city on the high. But if you slip and unleash the tailed beast, then I say city on the low end to state level on the high, because those beast bombs can eat cities. Now, considering the potential of each of these forms, did your choice change after hearing the pros and cons? Because childhood me is going Super Saiyan